Hi, my name is Lauren Monroe. I'm completing my report for the Evaluate Psychology portion. I wanted to discuss two different videos that I watched and how I was able to determine popular psychology from positive psychology. The first video that I watched was by Dr. Martin Seligman. He is a psychiatrist and one who promotes positive psychology and its effects. Positive psychology is the goal of making healthy people happier, making productive people more productive. In the past, mental health aims were to make miserable people less miserable. And so he went about teaching about positive psychology by encouraging us to focus on our strengths, building those strengths, nurturing what he calls our high talents, and in improving happiness in three different ways. He talked about three different types of happiness, and the first one was the pleasant life, which provides us with as much emotional happiness. When we enjoy events, or it's very emotionally based, it's kind of something that we can't continue on and on, but it's happiness in the moment. Then he referred to something he called the good life, which is really not so much an emotional state, but it is a drive to accomplish things when we're focused on our work, whether that work is our family or our job. When we're in the moment, it's called flow. And time stops for us, as he gave an illustration of that. And then the third part, the third happiness, was having the meaningful life. This one was the part of happiness that is the most cultivatable, because it's viewing ourselves as something larger, viewing ourselves as part of something larger in our lives. And so that's what his video was about. The other video that I watched was called The Secret. Now, The Secret offered big promises that we could have health and wealth and happiness, that we could even experience miracles in our lives based on the application of this law of attraction, which is what The Secret was. Basically, the law of attraction was explained as we attract the things and circumstances in our lives based on our thoughts, and that there is an assertion that our thoughts, both positive and negative, create the events that happen in our lives. I found that these two videos were much like this. One of them is a tool that we can use, and one of them is a picture of a tool. One of these is actually successful in being able to hang up a picture. The other one, not so much. See, when I looked at The Secret, it reminded me of a picture of a hammer. The idea that we could accomplish something with a tool that we really can't qualify or quantify. The assertions made in this video were that people were kept ignorant of this secret, that we're generally miserable people, and without the knowledge of this secret, we can never make our lives better. There was assertions that we didn't understand how electricity worked, and that positive thoughts are more powerful than negative. There was no real science given as background, as evidence, as proof. There was no empirical science. There was some references, but they were not connected to anything. Unlike Dr. Seligman, whose video and discourse was more like an actual hammer, tools that we can use. They were provable. It was based on empirical research, and the ways that we could improve our lives was to use these tests or proofs. He described create for yourself a beautiful day, to measure our happiness, like, you know, have the perfect day, and see how long that happiness lasts. And then he talked about another test we could do is a gratitude test, and see how long that happiness was residual in us. Or the altruistic test, helping someone else, and how that improved our sense of happiness and well-being. In one part of this this discussion with Dr. Seligman really struck a chord with me about the way that we process our happiness, which leads me to the discussion of stresses that I face in my work. I work in retail. I work as an assistant manager in a liquor store. There's a lot of different types of stresses from various different sources. Stresses related to customer service. There's stresses related to schedule changes, different demands at different times of the week, different times of the day, different times of the year. All those things affect how a schedule can work with the continuous demands of deadlines. Sometimes the work requires additional responsibilities, particularly unexpected ones, and requests from various supervisors for this or that to be accomplished. I found that some of the things that really helped me in coping with all these different types of stress was to focus on what you can accomplish in a day and not what you can't. And when the sun sets, the sun will rise tomorrow, whether you got everything done or not, whether people were happy or not. Tomorrow's still going to come. The earth is going to continue to rotate. And so the key is to try to focus on feeling good about what you could accomplish. Also trying to maintain positive connections with my coworkers definitely helps. I find taking the opportunity to commend them for what they're doing rather than focusing on my own personal frustration, taking the time to focus on building them up helps reduce my stress, which I guess is part of the tend and befriend thing that was taught in some of the research that was done. I was actually quite pleased in doing the research for this project that when I was able to measure myself, I had quite a bit of self-efficacy. So even though I'm an assistant manager, I don't get to make all the decisions, I can feel good about positive contributions that I can make into my workplace. And being able to look at what my job description is and go home at the end of the day and say, I completed that. I met what my job description requires of me, rather than comparing myself to someone else. So these are some of the points that I've gleaned from this study of this psychology at work, and I think it's made me a better employee and a better person.